Summer, 1939. The drums of war echo across a haunted continent, a continent holding its breath, bracing for impact. The air is thick with tension, the whispers of conflict growing louder with each passing day. The world watches, paralyzed, as the shadow of tyranny stretches further. Tonight, Hitler's next move. Summer 1939. Europe trembles, uncertain, uneasy. Leaders scramble, diplomats meet, but the wheels of fate are already turning. The question isn't if, but when. In the shadows, Adolf Hitler sharpens his next move, a move that will shatter the fragile peace and plunge the world into unimaginable chaos. His eyes gleam with ambition, his mind consumed by visions of conquest. He calls Stalin's diplomats to Berlin, a clandestine meeting shrouded in secrecy and deceit. And together, behind closed doors, they ink the secret Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. A pact of non-aggression, a cynical agreement that masks a far more sinister agenda. Their promise? Poland will be carved up, a nation sacrificed on the altar of ambition, its sovereignty betrayed by those who swore to protect it. Soviets to the east, poised to seize their share of the spoils. Germans to the west, ready to unleash their fury upon an unsuspecting nation. Stalin stays silent, a master of calculated indifference, watching as the pieces fall into place. And Europe edges closer to catastrophe. The diplomatic dance is over, the stage is set for war. Pause, faint radio static. September 1st, the day that will forever be etched in the annals of history. Pause, ticking clock. At dawn, the sky cracks open, not with the promise of a new day, but with the roar of engines and the threat of destruction. German planes scream overhead, a swarm of metal birds carrying death and devastation. Sirens wail, a desperate cry against the inevitable. Bombs fall, the earth trembles, buildings crumble, and lives are shattered. Blitzkrieg lightning war, a new kind of warfare designed to overwhelm and conquer with ruthless efficiency. Tanks roar across the Polish border, an unstoppable tide of steel and fire. Villages shatter, their peaceful existence torn apart by the brutal reality of war. Cities burn, monuments to civilization reduced to smouldering ruins. Warsaw, engulfed in flames, a symbol of resistance and resilience consumed by the inferno. Her people fleeing as Hitler smiles coldly from Berlin. A chilling display of power and a harbinger of the horrors to come. The world watches, but can only gasp. Paralyzed by fear, indecision, and the sheer scale of the unfolding tragedy. Pause, distant boots and radio hum. 2 days later, pause, ticking clock. Britain and France declare war. A belated response, a promise of action, but is it enough? But they are late. The die is cast and the war machine is already in motion. Parliament debates, weighing the cost of inaction against the perils of war. The Prime Minister's grave voice crackles across the airwaves, a sombre announcement that marks the end of an era and the beginning of a long and arduous struggle. Poland already broken, her fate sealed. A tragic example of what happens when good is overcome by evil. Hitler, he's just getting started. His ambitions know no bounds, his thirst for power insatiable. Pause, radio static, then silence. The world has entered the abyss, a dark and terrifying place where humanity's worst instincts are unleashed. Pause, heartbeat fades in, and the fire has only begun to burn, consuming everything in its path, leaving behind a trail of destruction and despair. In Part 10, darkness descends over Europe. The continent is plunged into a nightmare where hope seems lost and the future uncertain. Pause, slow strings swell. Subscribe for Part 10, The Darkness. Witness the unfolding horrors as Europe succumbs to the Nazi regime.